Hello, can you hear me? If you can hear me, just say hi. Okay, I think you can hear me now. So I welcome us to the second class for this data analysis class, and I believe we are learning one or two things. So, and I will apologize for going back. I just feel like if I continue from where I stop, it will be like a lot of like, especially for people that are just starting out. So that's why I just feel like maybe like I should start all over again. So because I some are already messaging me that they are tired, like I'm repeating stuff, like I'm going back. But I feel this is the best because so far there is no recording for last week. So we can just start in this way and we keep moving. So tonight, in tonight's class, I'll be teaching us, I'll be explaining, I'll continue where I stopped yesterday. So I'll continue by explain the use of spreadsheets, then come back to Microsoft Excel, teach us how to create data, like use some basic formula, then possibly I will do some visualization. Just like, and if we really have the time, I can also import data to Microsoft Excel environment, then we'll try to do what we can do about it. So now I will be moving to, I believe everybody can still see my screen. So I will be clicking on spreadsheet here. So I'll be clicking on spreadsheet here. Then I'm going to click on new. So after clicking on new, this is what you are going to see. So you just see like this is just like exactly, okay, let me try to zoom my, let me try to zoom it a little bit, maybe like for those, for people to see clearly. So I'm just trying to zoom it and I believe we can see it now clearly. At least it's more bigger. So if you click on file here, this is just like the basic page of spreadsheet. And if you click on file, we have new. That is, if you want to start another spreadsheet except this one, and if you click on open, open will also help you, like this is what open is going to display. You can check the recent, maybe like the recent work you've done. You can also work with your Google Drive, like connecting your Google Drive to it. Maybe like you have some certain information on your Google Drive that you want to work, maybe like the data you want to use is on your Google Drive. You can easily, so you can also work with data share with you. So these are like some datas, like some spreadsheets that people shared with me in the past. Then this is there. Then you can also work with your computer. You can also work with upload. Like that is, if you have already Microsoft Excel data on your laptop, you can easily browse. If you click on browse now, it's going to take me to my laptop where I can easily import any data. If I click on download now, so this, I have Excel data here, so I can easily click it and I'll start working on it. I don't need that now. I'm just showing us. Then if you click on edit, you can undo, you can redo, you can cut, you can copy, you can paste special, and under paste special, you can paste, like if you copy a certain stuff in your spreadsheet, you can paste like the value only, the format only, the formula only. You can even do conditional, like if the works that you are doing, maybe like data you are working on, you've applied some conditional formatting, you can only place the one that has conditional formatting. Or you can do data validation only. You can also do transpose if you want to like reverse your data. Like the transpose alone will be the one that you're going to, maybe like you copy a data, and when you are pasting it, you want it to just show the transpose of that data. then column wide only. All these are just like basic options, and you can also delete. This delete as well as some basic features just like row one, column A, cells and shift. So these are just like basic things. You can also find and replace. Maybe there is incorrect spell stuff in your spreadsheet, and you just want to like like you want to clean your data. So there's a way you can find and replace. Maybe something is incorrectly spelled and you want to just correct it. It can works in different way, and I'm going to show some of all these things when we start working on data. So then view, you can show, you can freeze, you can group, you can comment. You can also zoom your, maybe if you want your spreadsheet to be larger, you can zoom it. You can also do full screen. These are just like basic things you can do with Google spreadsheet. So this is cell, you can insert cell, like insert cells and shift right. You can insert cells and shift down. You can insert row, you can insert column, you can insert sheet. You can also insert chart, pivot chart. You can insert image depending on what you are really working on. You can also work with drawing. You can insert function, and we have various functions just like the way Microsoft Excel is. We have some average, count, max, mean. Then we also have link. You can also insert link. You can insert drop box, drop down. You can insert emoji. These are just like basic things you can do with your uh with your spreadsheet, Google spreadsheet. So if you click on format, you can the reason why I'm showing this is there are some that have maybe like Microsoft Excel that is not updated, and you maybe like you are still finding it hard to update it. You can still stick with Google spreadsheet. I think it has similar or has almost the same features, and using spreadsheet you don't need to update it. You just need to use it at like just like that. The only difference is you need to connect your device with internet before you can use it. So clicking on format, you can format the theme, the number. Like we have different types of number. We have automatic, like these are just like basic things. We have text, bold, italic, underline, strike word, depending on what you really want to do. You can also increase your font size and you can lower it. You can easily do conditional formatting here. Then you can alternate the color as well, so you can change the colors and manipulate so many things. So in data aspect, we have sort sheet. You can sort the whole sheet, maybe like in descending order or ascending order. You can create filter. You can filter view. You can add slicer. Slicer can control the whole element in your data. Okay, somebody said they can't see my screen. Is that true? Okay, is it true that you can't see my screen? I don't think I don't really think so. Maybe it's your network that is bad. So because as I'm teaching, I'm also connected with phone, checking what I'm actually doing. So to be sure that anything is not going wrong here. So what you just need to, we can't see it, and I can see it here. Maybe you should set the what is this called? You can just set the, okay, let me confirm. Let me confirm. So okay, let me reshare. I'm sharing the entire screen. So can we see my screen now? Can we see my screen now? My screen is actually showing. I don't know why we said they are not seeing it. How about now? Yes, I think maybe it's network. So what I'm just trying to, I think what I just try to explain here is just explaining some of the features here, like file, what file entails, what edit has. This just like undo, redo, cut, copy, paste, and paste special. Then we have for view, we have show, freaks, group, comment. So we also have for insert. These are various things you can insert in your uh spreadsheet. You can also format, like in terms of number, text, alignment, depending on what exactly you want to do in your data. You can also create a filter. You can sort the whole sheet, maybe like ascending or descending. You can create filter with your data. You can do some data validation. You can do some data cleanup. So you can do data extraction. You can also, these are just like basic things you can do with your, the reason why I'm just showing this is just like most of what you can achieve with Microsoft Excel, you can also achieve it using Google Spreadsheet, especially if you you don't really have, like you didn't have updated version of Microsoft Excel, so you can easily migrate to Google Spreadsheet at least till you are able to get that solved. So now I'm going to go back to, I just came here to show, okay, Excel. So this is Excel that we are working with, and I just show the spreadsheet so that we can just see some of the possibility as well. So now, okay, let me first try to make this bigger, but I'm sure if there's no network issue, this should show very clearly. So I believe by now, at least with this size, everybody should be able to see it clearly. So this is just like the plain sheet of Microsoft Excel, just like as I've showed us yesterday. So I'll be creating different items on this sheet just to have some certain data that we can easily work with. So I will just start with typing name here. So name, let me say age, then what can I say? Let me say attendance, okay, or this, okay, numbers of time. Let me just use it in that way. I want to make this bigger. So now I want to create a data just like for name, age, and numbers of attended classes. Like just what I'm just trying to do is just like to create a record for people attending classes, okay, numbers of time they showed up in class. So the first thing I'm going to do here is by, okay, typing different name. I'll just create a name randomly. So I'll probably use maybe like any age. Let me use 18. Then let me say, okay, let me just say 6. Okay, let's say we are working towards 10. This person attended a class for 6 time. Let me just use 10. Then it's okay. Let me just use 8. So this person attended classes 8 times. Then let me use another person. Let me use Kunle. Let me use 23. Let me say this person attended class 5 times. Let me use Kemi. This person attended classes let me say, okay, the age of Kemi should be 30. Let's use 30. Then he attended classes, let me say 10 times. He almost attended every classes. So let me use Victor. I'm just creating a random name just to create a data set that we can work with. So let me just use, okay, 25. Then the numbers of time he attended classes, let me use 8. Let me use what other names. Let me use 28, and then let me use the numbers of time he attended classes. Let's use 7. Then yes, let's say Victoria, 26. Then the numbers of time attended classes, let's say 10 as well. Then uh so he attended classes 6 times. So I'm just creating a random data that we can work with. I'm just typing any names that comes to my head right now. So that's just what I'm saying, doing now right now. So then let's just, it's just like I just want 10 record and this the last one. So let me just say 10 as well. So this is just like a data on its own. We've generated data for, just like this is, we can call this attendance, right? So in this scenario, we can use some of our Excel skill to check, okay, what is the, like, who is the oldest. We can formulate some question, just like, okay, let me just write those question here. So from this data I can get who is the oldest. So I can get who is the oldest here. I can get who is the youngest from this particular data. So I can check who, like, I can check the oldest, I can check the youngest, I can check who the punctual, like I can check those that punctual, like those that come to class often. So I can check them here. Then I can check maybe like somebody that I don't really like coming to class. So I can check like their punctuality. Let me just check, okay, who is the most punctual. Let me just say most punctual least punctual. So this is just like I just try to formulate this okay, let's just answer this question. And the way we can answer this question, who is the oldest, is by just like using checking for the maximum, that is the maximum age. So we are going to look for the cell that the age belong to, that is we are working with cell B, and we are going to create the range at which our numbers fall, like the range of the number, that is from B2 to B11. That's the range of our data set. So we are going from B2 to B11, and you can see that it already just highlighted that particular stuff. So it has already highlighted it from B2 to B26. So if I click on enter now, I'm able to get the oldest to be 34. Then I can also check for the youngest by using minimum. So if I use minimum, then open bracket, then try to put the range. The range for the minimum is C2, then I'll put the range which is C11. Then if I try to click on enter, like if I try to press enter, oh, I think this is a mistake. This should be B. So instead of C is for the numbers of attendee, so it should be B. So that's a mistake, and I've tried to correct that. So the youngest here is 18 years old. So this thing that I'm just trying to do is just like basic analysis. Like this is the data we created, and we are trying to get some information from the data. We are trying to check for the oldest, we are trying to check for the youngest, and we can see that okay, the oldest is 34. Anybody that is 34 year is the oldest, in which we have Dami to be the oldest, and the youngest is 18, in which we find Abayomi to be the youngest because he's the one that has 18 years old. Then we are still trying to check the most punctual, who is the most punctual among all these people. So we need to use okay equals to max, okay equals to AX, then open bracket C2 to C11. So checking for the maximum of the numbers of attended classes. So we have 10, that is those we can now later trace out people that has 10, but the way we are going to do it, I'm going to show us later. So equals to, because if I can easily use my eyes to just look at all these things and see the one that has the lowest, the highest, but what if we are working with a very large amount of data? In that scenario, it will be kind of difficult to really see what is going on. So in that case, there are a lot of techniques we can use to get okay, this is what we are looking for, and it will be kind of easier for us to see. So equals to minimum, then we can put in the range which is C2 to C11. So if we try to do that, it's going to give me 5. That is the person that don't really like the class here has like 5 times, like he came to class 5 times. And if you trace that out, that person is Kunle from this particular data set. So these are just like ways of using formula and function. What I'm trying to use is just formula and function. So I'm using formula and function to get some certain information from this particular data. And I can also make some visuals of this, maybe like in terms of age. I can do this. I can work with this. I can work with this now. Let me just try to show this. Let me just click on insert. Then once I click on insert, I'm going to let me click on recommended chart. I want to see some recommended charts here. So seeing like at times checking a recommended chart help you a lot to see the kind of chart, like it's going to give you a lot of pictures of the kind of chart that is feasible, like that really makes sense, that can give out your information like in a very good, instead of you just thinking around your head like looking for okay what is kind of best features I want to use. You can just click on that recommended chart and you will see like various charts. Here you can also click on all charts. You can see here we have different charts. You can easily play around them. Then you can go with recommended, like the recommended chart. So if I'm going with recommended chart, I think I will go for the first one. If I go for the first one, this is where, so now the information on my data is now in a chart. So and you can see this chart is showing the name and the age of each individual. So we have Abayomi, we have Kunle, we have all these names that we that I just, like I just thought of them, then just put them down because it's not maybe like the data is not real. I just feel like putting their name and their age. And you can see now that all this, the growth of this age, and in this chart we can easily see the one that is bigger, in which is Dami. We can easily see that Dami is the oldest in this particular data set. And I can also change my axis, like my axis or my chart title. So if I want to rename this chart title now, I can just say a chart, a chart. I can just say a chart showing uh age and name of students. So I've already renamed this particular chart, and this is it. And I can also change this chart to different, like I can change the color. I can change the color of my chart. I can change the color of my chart, right? I can also try to, I can change the color of my chart. I can also try to change the kind of chart I'm using by like working around all this. So if I click on this plus now, you see we have axis, we have axis title. If I want to add axis title, that is my right, my y axis and left axis, I can just put okay age. Let me just add, like I want to add uh if I also want to add data label, you can see now me adding data label help me to show the age of individual on the chart. And I think showing the age actually help to see what is actually going on very quickly, instead of just trying your best to really, like, instead of stressing your eyes to see what is going on in this data. This actually give us, like, adding like data label help us to put the numbers on each particular chart. Then I can also do data table if I want. I can just give a table that summarizes what I'm actually doing. So this can be under my chart, that is putting the name and their age. This is just like a way of just trying to simplify what you are doing and making it easier for your audience, that is people you want to present your solution to. But I'm going to remove the table. I just going to do, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add axis title. So if I want to add axis title, so I can put age here. So if I can find a cool place to, I think this is not really, or let me just see if, oh, I think the structure of this data does not really allow that. It's not showing properly. So there's a lot of information here. But what I'm just trying to do is just to label the y-axis and also the x-axis. You can add that to your data set. And I can also try to work around like others visuals, just to see what is going on. So I can also work with checking, like I can work with the numbers of the attended classes, that is just to check what is really going on in that particular space. But it's more easier to really work with name and age because they are closer to each other. Because if you want the two of them to appear on the chart, you have to highlight them together. So then now, or let me just try to highlight the three and see what is going to happen. Then we can just try to maybe like just try some chart. Let me see recommended chart here. Okay, I think it look great. I think it look great. So we can, it's something we can do. So this is just this. So we can also, I'm trying to arrange this properly so that we can see it clearly. Let me just make it smaller so that we can see it clearly. So like working with the three data sets, like the both the name, the age, and the numbers of time they attended classes, this show this particular chart, and we can see the first one is the age, and the second one is just like numbers of which they attended classes, and I can easily put their value on it. I think, let me try to put data label if it's going to make sense. So putting data label really make it easier for us to see, okay, this is what is going on, but at times it may look somehow and it may not really represent the data clearly. Or no, it's going to represent the data clearly, but it may be like it may show a lot of information in a chart, and at times you may try to avoid putting a lot of information on your chart to as a professional data analyst. At times you need to just do away with a lot of information. You have to make your work very simple and clear for people to see what is going on or try to understand your insight. So what I'm just trying to play around there is just like using some charts to present what is in that small data, that is like checking their age, checking their name, like see who is oldest, who is youngest, and see who attend class the most and those that don't really like attending classes. So that's just basically what I'm trying to do here. So I'm going to delete this chart again so that I can easily do another thing. So this is the data set that we are working on, and you can see we use minimum here, we use, so we can also check for average, but I just feel that average here is not really saying anything, like it's not, I don't think it's really contributing to what we are trying to find, but it's just like ways of just trying to try those formulas and function and see how it works. So if I use average here, which is average, then I'll just put equals to average. You see in some Microsoft Excel is going to suggest those particular functions and formula for you. So if I click on average, I'll just click on average, or you can probably type it out yourself, then open bracket, put the range of what you are. So I want to check the average age here. So the range of average age is B2 then to B11. So if I click on enter, it's going to show me that okay, the average age here is 23.3. That is maybe like the person is 25 years and 3 months. But that's just like through the calculation. But I don't think this is true. But I'm just showing us the possibility of okay, average. Average can also be used. Then we can also try to check okay, average of age. Let me just finish labeling that. Average of age, average of age in the class. Then I can also check for average average of time, of the numbers of time that those guys attended classes. So that's just what I'm going to write. So I can just say equals to, then add, okay, average bracket C2, then C11. So the average time that people attend classes is 8.1. Although this data is not, maybe I think it's just like the way I just try to put any numbers I like, because at times if it is just like a real data, it may not be in this way. So the number does not really have like a certain structure. I'm just trying to put in any numbers of my choice. So what I'm trying to do here is just to check, okay, who is the oldest, who is the youngest, most punctual, least punctual, average of the age, then average of the numbers of time they attended classes. So these are just like basic things that we can do. And also we can just try to repeat all this value. So if I try to repeat all this, maybe like try to use Kunle in 3 times, I can use Kunle in 3 times. That is, maybe Kunle still keep coming to classes, so I can just use, okay, what is Kunle age? Kunle age is 23, right? Then I can just say, okay, Kunle still show up for, if this is just like a weekly data, that is another week, and we are just using a platform to collect all their data. So another week, Kunle also show up for 6 days. So I can also write, okay, Kemi also show up. Kemi is 30 years old, and e also show up for, in another week, it also show up maybe like 5 times. And here I can just highlight this data, and okay, I won't highlight all because I already have some works at this end, and I don't really want to do like what I really want to do. I don't want it to affect everything. So here I'll just click on insert, then try to create, I'm trying to create a filter here, then see how it works. Okay, I think you can just, okay, this is how to do it. So now I've actually created a filter here. So if I just click on this particular stuff, it's going to show me different categories of my data set. And if I just uncheck some of them, I can just uncheck them just because I want to work with maybe like a certain category. I may want to work with Kunle alone. So if I want to check Kunle data alone, if I just click on OK, you see the only thing you're going to see here is just Kunle alone. That is, you're going to see Kunle age, you are going to see the numbers of time Kunle appears in a class. And if you also want to pick another item, that is another name, I can also pick maybe like Kemi, for example, to see exact time that Kemi also show up, just like to check the data of Kemi alone. So I can see that, okay, Kemi age is 30, and the numbers of time he showed up in class is just 10 and 5. I can also do this. This is just like I'm creating a filter, like I'm trying to filter what is inside my Excel sheet. So I'm going to click on select all, then bring them back. So in this scenario age here, I can maybe like I just want to work with people that are 30 years old, or maybe like I want to work with people that they are 30 years above. So I will just uncheck the rest. So if this data is large and has like a lot of categories, it's easier to just filter them and see what is really going on in your data set here. So here now, the data I'm working with is just like, okay, I'm working with age that are greater than 30, and I can see that those that fall into this category, they are just Kemi, Dami, and it's just Kemi and Dami alone. Kemi is 30 years and Dami is 34, and you can see the numbers of time they showed up in class. You can also consider the age that is lower than them. This is just like basic analysis. So if I also want to, okay, let me just uncheck, let me check all and bring everything together. So I want to also use for the number, maybe like there is a price for people that attend classes, and we just want to know those that are punctual, like those that came throughout the the course, and we know that the maximum is 10, right? So anybody that fall into that category, it will be like we want to award them. So in this scenario, we can just uncheck others and just leave 10 and see those that fall into that category. So if I click on OK, after doing this, I'll just click on OK, and I can see here that people that are punctual in this course of study is just Kemi, Victoria and Moses, because they came 10 times without missing any date. So in this filtering and sorting, it's easy for you to really see, like navigate what exactly is going on in your data set. So that's just one of the advantage of using those particular stuff. And I would love to, okay, let me add another sheet. I will add sheet 2 and then try to import a data from my laptop. Then maybe we just try to see what we can actually achieve with that as well. So let me just click on browse for me to access those data set. I think I drop it. Okay, let me just use Excel projects as data set I'm using. So now the data set is already here, and this is the data set that we want to use. I've tried to import it and it's already here. So in this data, we have region, we have store ID, we have product, we have quantity. These are just like basic data set that we have. In this scenario, we can check for the maximum. I can put them in category just to see the unique value that are present. That is, okay, in terms of region, I may want to know the unique value in region, that is how many region is there, just in, just to know the kind of regions are under region. And also products, I may really want to know specific or unique value of the products, that is the exact in this particular data there is a repetition, that is some America is repeated different times, iPhone 11 or all these particular stuff that repeated countless times. So for you to be able to see, especially when the data is very very large, you can't really see with just like your eyes, just try to check, okay, is this one this. So in this scenario, you have to create, you have to use some Microsoft techniques, maybe formula, function, sorting, filtering, to be able to see what is going on. It's just like for you to really understand what is really going on in your data. So in this, I'm going to highlight this and try to, so I'm going to highlight it and try to create filter for this, so that I can filter the data set, like try to know what is really going on in the data. So once I've been able to highlight everything, I'm just going to I'm just going to click on, if you click on home on your Microsoft Excel, you should be able to see things like this. Then I'm just going to create filter. So once I create filter, now this is just like the sign for filter, that is the filter has been created, right? So if I click on this, you see the categories that we have here is America, APAC, we have EMA. So if I just uncheck all and I try to maybe like work with one of them, so if I work with America, it's just only going to show me America alone, and you can see it's only America we are seeing. And we can easily work with products sold in America alone. So if I'm trying to like try to check for APAC, then try to uncheck America. So if I click on OK, the data I have here is just for APAC alone, and it's kind of easier for me to really see what is going on and try to maybe like draw insight from it, or maybe like further works on this, maybe like clean it, or And you can see, okay, let me continue with this side. Then I can point out another thing. So if I click on okay for EMA, now we can, the only thing that we can see here is EMA. So if I'm going to uncheck all so that we can still see everything. Then this is the old data set, right? I want to also work with the product. So you can see from this category for product, we have iPhone 11, we have iPhone 6, we have iPhone 7. And checking on the category, one thing I'm able to discover here is that we have two iPhone 11, we have two iPhone 7. So in this data set, we have two iPhone 11 and also we have two iPhone 12. And the difference between, okay, we have iPhone 11 and we also have iPhone 11. And the difference between the two should be the same, but the difference between the two is that the first one is incorrectly spelled. That is, okay, let me just uncheck it and show us so that we can see it as well. So this is one iPhone 11, and you see that in this place we have two I. So two I is here, and that shows this two I is incorrectly spelled. But if I just use my hand to maybe like make an adjustment to that, that shows I'm not technical. Like, I can't just use my hand to do it. I have to automate, and that's, I think that's what a data analyst is being paid for, or maybe like any technical person. You have to develop that skills of doing automation. That is, a single, you can make a single attempt to something and control a lot, or maybe like you can do a minimal thing that is actually performing a lot of stuff. So instead of you just using hand to just do the manual cleaning, once you are doing the manual cleaning yourself, that shows you are not a data analyst, because you must find a way around it that you can just use some certain features and everything is going to go back to normal. So now this one is incorrectly spelled. Then if I just uncheck it and click on the second iPhone and click OK, so this one is showing correct spelled iPhone. And now I already know that this data that I want to work with is already a data set. It's already a dirty data set. So I need to find ways of doing something that is going to make this data set to be useful. So how can I do that? I'm going to do that by, okay, find and replace. So I'm going to find the incorrectly spelled iPhone, then replace it with the one that's spelled correctly. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. So I'm going to click all. So I'm going to select all so that we can have like access to our main data. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to find and replace. I think find and replace is here, but I don't know where it is from our own side or our own Excel book. So I'm going to click on find and replace. So if I click on find here, and okay, you can see the question that this particular stuff is asking me. Find what? That is, what am I finding? So now I'm finding incorrect spelled iPhone. Then I want to replace it with the correct spelled. So I will just click on I will just type it out. Hone. This is just like the one that is incorrectly spelled. Then I'll just go to more option, that is, what are the sheet, is it within the sheet? So it's still asking me some basic question, that is, within, is it within the sheet or outside the sheet? And what I really want to do is within the sheet. Then search by row, is it by row or by column? So I guess it's by row, not by column. And if you want to specify by column, we just need to specify that product. Okay, let me go by column. Then let me I'll just specify the, okay, let me just go by row. Let me go by row. Match entire cell. So I can check this, I can also check this. Match entire cell content. So any way, any place is able to find that incorrect spelled, is going to replace it. So find all, then let me see more options. Okay, this is just for find. I've not clicked on replace. So once I click on replace, it's going to give me an option to type what exactly I want to replace it with. So if I click on I'll just type the correct iPhone. We already know that correct spelled iPhone is spelled as iPhone. So I'm just going to give it that correct spelling. So once I give it correct spelling, I will just click on find all. So okay, replace, let me just say replace all, because if he is able to find it and he's not replacing it, he's just going to identify where those particular incorrect spelled are being found. But now I want it to take that effect by just looking for them and replacing them with the right text. So what I'm going to do now is just like replace all. So we couldn't find anything to replace. Click on okay. Okay, we couldn't find. Okay, I think what I'm setting is not right. I'm not setting it right. So find, replace. So now just me clicking on find all, I'm able to find. Okay, I think this is what is happening. So I think this is what is happening just because I checked the match entire cell content. I think that's why the issue is. Now for me to click on that replace all, he is able to show me now that okay, all done, we made 4 replacements. That is, he's able to replace 4. So now I'm going to go back to my category. Let me just cancel this and just let me go back to my category and see. So now I'm able to see that we only have a single iPhone 11, a unique value of iPhone 11, a unique value of iPhone 12, a unique value of iPhone 6, a unique value of iPhone 7 and iPhone 8. So this is just like, this has already been cleaned in this, because what we just did now is just like data cleaning. Try to identify, okay, what is not right in this data set, and you are able to fix it by using find and replace. That's just what I, and for me to use it, I first create filter for the table to be able to sort and just check the categories that are present in that particular data, for me to be able to know that if something is wrong or right in my data set. So in this we can also do a lot of stuff here. We can bring out the unique value. We can create the we can create a small table. I can use pivot table here to create like a summarized table from this data set to get some certain information, just like in terms of those iPhone. Instead of repeated in this table, I can get iPhone 11, iPhone 12, iPhone 8, 7, and be able to compare their sales in each region, and also know the quantity sold in each region, and probably compare the product that is doing well or probably the region that is doing well. I can do that in a summarized table, and I can also do that by using a pivot table. I'm still going to do all this like as time goes on. We can also create conditional formatting for this particular data set. So those are just like basic things. I can also try to check like the maximum here, I can check the minimum, I can check. Okay, let me just even try to check some, but I think we just have 3 minutes more. So let me see if I can check the minimum for this particular data set. I'm going to stop soon. Okay, the then where is the data ending? I think 36 E36. So this is the minimum quantity sold. Let me just try to write it if I really have the time. Quantity sold minimum. So minimum, I can just use E3, then E36. So this is the minimum sold, and I can also check for maximum sold. I think this is the last thing I'm going to do so that we can call it a day, abi a night. So equals to maximum, then E3, then E36. So this is where I'm going to stop tonight. The minimum is 1, while the highest is 1,526. So this is where I'm stopping tonight, and it's nice having everybody on the call. So till Thursday that we'll meet again. And if you don't like, if you have any question, you can just ask me on the Telegram page so that we can relate with ourselves more. I believe we learn one or two things tonight, and thanks for staying to the end. So bye for now. Enjoy the rest of your night. Goodbye.